Students, in the last video, we saw how sodium chloride is formed. That is, we understood the concept of valency. Yes. Now, science capsule. Positively charged ions are called cations, while negatively charged ions are called anions. Okay, so positively charged ions are called what? Cations. Negatively charged are called anions. For example, magnesium chloride contains Mg++. Okay, so you can see this is a cation and this is an ion. Okay, magnesium and chlorine, okay, as cation and anion respectively. The electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom are called valence electrons. Now, how will the compounds magnesium chloride and calcium oxide be formed? Their elements. Now you should try this sodium chloride. I've explained to you very clearly. Okay. Now try this magnesium chloride and calcium oxide. You should first of all write their atomic number. Then after writing the atomic number, you should write the that is draw the structure. Okay. Then that is according to the atomic number, you are going to write the electronic configuration, right? And after writing the electronic configuration, you are going to draw the structure. Then as I told you in case of sodium chloride, okay, how one electron was transferred, right? Yes. Now that is just like that you are going to, okay, draw the structure of magnesium chloride and calcium oxide and send it to me. The number of electrons that are given away or taken up is always a whole number. Therefore, valency is always a whole number. Okay. Now see the number of electrons that are given away. You always remember that one whole electron or two whole electrons are given away. Never a fraction of electron is given like half, 1/4. No, not in this way. Always a whole number, okay, of electrons is given away or taken up. Therefore, valency is always a whole number. Remember, valency is always a whole number. The National Chemical Laboratory NCL, a unit of the CSIR, was established in 1950. Its objectives are to conduct research in the various branches of chemistry. Now, this National Chemical Laboratory, which is there, NCL, okay, it is the unit of CSIR. It was established when? In the year 1950. Okay. Now, what was the objective? The objective, okay, its objective are to conduct research in the various branches of chemistry to aid industry and to develop new technologies with a view to making profitable use of the country's natural resources. Natural resources are getting depleted nowadays. We are using it more and more. The demand for the natural resources is increasing, isn't it? So, okay, this the laboratory which is there, NCL, which is the unit of CSIR, the main objective of it is to conduct research, okay, in which field? It's conducting research in the field of chemistry, okay, and it wants to aid industries, okay, it wants to help the industries to develop new technology. So what that means, technology concerned with what? With a view to making profitable use of the country's natural resources. So how the natural resources can be used in a proper way, profitable way. So the laboratory conducts research in fields such as biotechnology, non-biotechnology, and also in polymer science. Okay, in all these three fields, the laboratory is conducting research. Now, before proceeding further, okay, let me tell you once again this. Okay, let me repeat this you are going to try, you have to try. Okay, yes, if you don't understand, just message me. Okay, so that I can that is tell you how to write this. Now see, complete the following chart. Element, okay, atomic number, electronic configuration. So elements are given, its atomic number is given, then electronic configuration is given. You know, if you know the atomic number, you can write the electronic configuration. If you know the electronic configuration, then you can write the valence electrons, and if you know the valence electrons, you will be able to write the valency, isn't it? Now see, that is what you are going to, this is what, okay, you are going to make use of when you are going to write the structure of magnesium chloride, when you are going to explain it, remember. Now see, hydrogen, okay, yes, is 1, right? See, hydrogen, okay, it is 1, electronic configuration is also 1, valence electrons also 1, naturally the valency has to be 1, right? Now helium is 2, you know, in the that is, see, the first shell which is there, it can hold how many electrons? 2 electrons, right? So helium is 2. Naturally, yes, the valency what is there over here, it has completed the duplet state, right? So the valency over here, now see, remember, the valency over here is given as 0. But why 0? See, you know, this is duplet state, right? This is the first shell, right? This is the first shell. Now you know, in the innermost shell, okay, yes, how many maximum number of electrons can be occupied in the innermost shell? Only 2 electrons, right? Yes. Now in the case of helium, this is completed, right? Yes, this is completed, means what? Duplet state is completed. That is why, you know, this helium which is there, it comes in inert gas, means what? Because there are no extra electrons to take part in the reaction. There is no free electrons, right? Yes, the duplet state is completed. It can neither take any of the electron nor it can give away any electron, and that is why the valency, the number of electrons which can take part in the reaction, is naturally 0, and that is why, yes, the valency of helium is 0. Now lithium, okay, yes, the electronic configuration is 2 1. Electronic configuration is 2 1, okay, means what is the atomic number? Naturally, no, atomic number has to be 3, correct? Yes. Now the valence electrons, see, the 2 and 1 is the atomic number, means, remember, yes, in the innermost shell 2 electrons are occupied, so the third electron has to be occupied in the next shell, right? But you know, this after the first shell, okay, the next shells can occupy how many maximum number of electrons? 8 electrons, right? So now how many electrons this outermost orbit can occupy, that is, you know, to become stable, okay, this orbit which is there, okay, it has to either accept 7 electrons, correct, to become stable, so that, see, you know, all octet state will be completed, right? Yes, then it will become stable. But see, what I want to tell you is it easy to take 7 electrons, okay, and become 8, or it is easy to give away this 1 electron so that the innermost orbit only 2 electrons remain, so that what will happen, the inner, this shell is completed, right? So it become, this atom will become stable, no? Yes, helium atom will become stable, lithium will become stable, right? So what is it going to do? Instead of taking 7 electrons, it is easier for this lithium to give away this 1 electron. So how many electrons are taking part in the reaction? 1 electron, right? So see, in this case lithium, okay, here the atomic number I told you is 3. Yes, then valence electrons is how much? 1, correct? Yes, and valence is how much? 1. Okay, yes. Now beryllium, okay, the atomic number is given to you as 4. So how you are going to write the electronic configuration? Electronic configuration, first shell, maximum number of electrons is going to be 2. Then how many electrons remain from this 4? 2 electrons, right? Yes. Now see, to become stable, this has to attain either octet state. To attain octet state, it has to take 6 electrons, or it will have to give away these 2 electrons, so the innermost shell will remain and it will become stable, right? So which is going to be easier? So see, it's easier if this 2 electrons is given away, right? Yes. So the number of electrons, okay, valence electrons are going to be how many? 2, correct? Yes, see here, electronic configuration 2 and 2. Now valence electrons 2. How many electrons are taking part in the reaction? 2 electrons. So valency is going to be 2. Now boron, okay, yes, is 5. Boron is 5. So electronic configuration is 2 and 3. So you are going to add how many electrons? That is how long you can add electrons in this second cell till it completes the octet state, that is 8, correct? Yes. So 5 2 3, okay. Then the valence electrons, yes, what is the valence electrons? 3, correct? Yes. So the number of now instead of taking 5 electrons to attain octet state, it is easier to give away this 3 electrons. So how many electrons are taking part in the reaction? 3 electrons, correct? Yes. So the valency is also going to be 3. Now see the next, okay, now the next one is something similar. Let us go with oxygen, okay. Yes, electronic configuration is given to you as 2 and 6, right? So atomic number of oxygen is going to be how much? 8, correct? Yes. Now see, if 2 and 6, so how many electrons are there in the outermost orbit? 6 electrons. So the valence electrons, yes, is going to be 6. Now see valency, okay. Now for valency, this has to attain octet state, right? Now instead of giving away this 6 electrons, it is easier for this to take 2 electrons, right? So when this takes 2 electrons, this will become how much? 8, right? So 2 and 6. Okay, so if it takes 2 electrons, it will become 2 and 8, and it will attain an octet state, and the atom will become stable. Okay, so what is the valency over here? How many electrons are taking part? 2 electrons, right? Yes, so the valency is going to be 2. Now see, fluorine. We'll take the next one, fluorine. Now see, fluorine is 9. Okay. Now see, so now how we are going to write in the innermost orbit? 2. Then yes, uh, the remaining 7 electrons in the next orbit. Now what is going to happen? If 1 electron is given to this will attain octet state, right? Yes. So the valence electrons, how many? 7 electrons, and the valency is going to be 1, because if 1 electron is taken by this, okay, it will attain the octet state, and thus the atom will become stable. Now let us take okay. Now see, sodium, you can see 2, 8 and 1, right? 2, 8 and 1 means how much? The atomic number over here is going to be 2 plus 8, 10 plus 1, 11, right? Yes. Then the valency, the outermost, in the outermost, this one, how many electrons are there? Orbit, 1 electron. So the valence electron is going to be 1. Then valency is also going to be 1, because 1 is given away, right? Then it will become only 2 shells remain, 2 and 8. Now see, I have explained to you some in this chart, right? This is very important. That is why I have taken so much time to explain it to you. So you are going to solve other blanks in this table. You are going to fill those blanks, okay, and send it to me. Now variable valency. Under different conditions, the atoms of some elements give away or take up different number of electrons. In such cases, those elements exhibit more than one valency. This property of elements is called variable valency. Now see, in some conditions, okay, yes, different conditions, the atoms of some elements, okay, they give away or take up different number of electrons. So this elements, they exhibit more than one valency. So such type of property of the elements, we call it as variable valency. Now always remember, iron exhibits the variable valency of 2 and 3. Now this is interesting. See, iron, it exhibits the variable valency. Sometimes it is 2 and sometimes the valency is 3. Now see, iron forms two compounds with chlorine, FeCl2 and also FeCl3. So in this case 2, in this case 3. Now see, below in the box they have shown you that some elements that exhibit variable valency. See, copper, mercury and iron. Copper exhibits 1 and 2, mercury exhibits 1 and 2, and iron exhibits 2 and 3. Okay. Now see, Cu plus 1 means 1 valency in case of cuprous, 2 in case of cupric, 1 mercury in case of mercurius, and in 2 plus it is mercuric, and iron, see, ferrous in case of 2 plus, and ferric in case of 3 valency. Okay, yes, you can find out some more elements which are having the variable valency, and also find out the compounds of the above elements which have variable valency. See, let us see this video clip regarding valency. I've shown you one in the last video also. Okay, this will make you clear, that is how you should calculate the valency, how you will find out the valency, and how the atom becomes stable. When will the atom become stable? So let us see this through this video clip.
To understand a few concepts related to atoms, let's begin with two simple elements, hydrogen and helium. Apart from the difference in the number of electrons and their structure, can you tell me another difference between these two? Yes, the most important difference lies in the fact that hydrogen is capable of reacting with several other elements, while helium never really does. Helium is a quiet, unreactive element that does not participate in reactions. But have you ever wondered why? What makes helium and many other elements also like neon, argon not participate in chemical reactions? And another question we would have is what makes other elements react spontaneously with each other? The answer is valency. Yes, one of the most important factors for reaction is the concept of valency. But before that, let's have a look at an important concept called the electronic configuration. Now, what could this be? As the name suggests, electronic refers to electrons, and the term configuration literally means arrangement or layout. That means the electronic configuration of an atom is the arrangement of its electrons in the shells. As simple as that. There are two facts that we need to recall. First, the innermost shell, or the first shell rather, has a maximum of 2 electrons that can be accommodated in it. Secondly, from the second shell onwards, whichever is the outermost shell, it can accommodate a maximum of 8 electrons. In simpler words, outermost orbital can contain 8 electrons at max. This state is called as the octet
This
state.
is what I told you.
The term originates from the Greek word octa, which means 8. The octet state is considered to be a stable state.
And from second
Let's
shell,
understand this in a simple
electrons.
way. You love chocolates. Now, if there is a bag of chocolates kept open before you, how many will you try to grab at once? Needless to say, you will try and take as many chocolates as your hand can accommodate. That means the maximum number of chocolates is what anybody will wish for. Now, what have chocolates got to do with electronic configuration and valency? Let's understand the relation. As a part of human tendency, we will try and grab the maximum number of chocolates using our hands. Similarly, the atoms would want to have maximum number of electrons their shells can accommodate. That means if it's just one...
See, their shells can accommodate means how many electrons? Their shells can accommodate the innermost, that is, the first shell can accommodate how many? Only 2 shells, isn't it? Then the next shells can occupy, that is, it depends, L shell, M shell, N shell. So there is a formula for that. That is 2n square, isn't it?
Shell, like in the case of hydrogen or helium, then the atoms would want to have 2 electrons in it. That will be the outermost shell of the atom. This will help them achieve a stable state. Similarly, for all the other atoms having more than one shell, it's obvious that they will wish to have 8 electrons in their outermost shell.
So see, wait, I'll show it to you. See, now, first shell can accommodate 2 electrons. Then the next shells which are there, okay, second, third, fourth, and so on, they can occupy a maximum of 8 electrons. And when the shell is, that is maximum, it can hold 8. electrons. It cannot hold more than 8 electrons. So if the number exceeds, then it will be transferred to the next shell.
Why is this so? That's correct. It's because the outermost orbital of any atom can accommodate a maximum of 8 electrons in it. That is the reason why all the atoms of various elements are in a constant struggle of attaining 8 electrons in their last shell. That is, achieving the octet state. However, it's not possible for all to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Imagine the case of oxygen. It has a total of 8 electrons. So can we just have one orbital around the nucleus containing all the 8 electrons? Absolutely not. In fact, according to the rule, we have to fill 2 electrons in the first and the remaining 6 electrons in the second shell. Because the capacity of the first shell is to accommodate a maximum of 2 electrons. So can we say that the electronic configuration of oxygen is 2, 6? That's right. But now this indicates that oxygen does not have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So how will it achieve its stable state? What can be done to have 8 electrons in the outermost orbital? Yes, oxygen can borrow or share electrons with atoms of other elements, right? Absolutely. This is how chemical reactions happen. Wait a second. Are we saying that chemical reactions occur because atoms of various elements give or take or share electrons between them? That's correct. And is this how compounds are formed? Absolutely. The giving or accepting or even sharing of electrons between the atoms of elements give rise to formation of chemical bonds. This ultimately gives us a compound. Now you tell me, how will the atoms decide how many electrons are to be given or accepted? How will they understand that electrons need to be shared with the other partner? Who decides all this? Well, the answer to all these questions is the concept of valency.
I hope students you have understood the concept of valency well now, right? Yes. Okay, then you complete this table and you will have to try the magnesium chloride also, okay, and send it to me.